A very good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session. I am 𝗟𝗂𝗰𝗶𝗃𝗃. I am an associate in LawSikho. Today, we have brought to you a very interesting session, which is based upon an area which is not very much developed. Today, we'll be talking about the alternate intelligence technology, and I'll be introducing the host very soon. Today we are joined by Mr. Shikhar Gupta, who is a research fellow and a PhD scholar in Delhi University. He has an experience of researching in the area of AI, artificial intelligence. I'm sorry, I mispronounced it earlier. So we'll be talking about liability on for misconduct via artificial intelligence. I'll hand over the session now to Mr. Shikhar, and we will see how what are the nuances of this area, how liability can be imposed, right? So I won't take any much more of your time. Thank you so much all to join in. Shikhar sir, please take this session ahead.
Thank you, Akshay. And my thanks to the team at LawSikho for inviting me to conduct this webinar on this emerging issue of artificial intelligence. I welcome all the participants present here, both students as well as legal professionals, who have taken their busy time out to attend this webinar, which I'm sure will be an enriching experience for both you as well as me. I say me because the topic today of artificial intelligence, particularly the liability issues. There are no concrete legal or regulatory frameworks regarding the topic in India and neither in most nations of the world. So this webinar would not be a one-sided lecture, but an interactive participation where you will gain from my insights and my research on the topic, while I will also gain from your valuable insights that may contribute towards my future work in my PhD. So I don't want this webinar to be a one-sided lecture because that way it would not succeed. So I want you all to be ready to participate at any moment and be ready to question or present your comments whenever you like. And I assure you that this webinar is not a very technical webinar. I will make you understand things in a very layman approach, so that each of you would be able to present your views or any ideas, suggestions, or even put questions that may come as we go on through the webinar. So let's start with the webinar today.
All right. Let me just get in here for a minute. So before starting, I'd let you know that there is this Q&A tab here just beside participants. You can see you can put up your questions there. If you want to make any contribution, you can put up your opinions on chat as well. You can comment here, and let's make this session interactive. To start with, I'd really like to know which all areas everyone is coming from. If you are a law student, just write law student in the chat box. If you are a lawyer, write lawyer. If you're coming from any other area, just post where you're coming from. Let's make this interactive. I'm waiting for people to put the things in chat. Just write lawyer or law student in the chat box. Law student, yes, we have law student. Law student. Uh, any more responses? Anyone who is not a law student, a lawyer, or coming from any other area? Right. So today we are mostly joined by law students. So that is our today's demographic. I'm sorry if I had to get in, but please take ahead.
Akshay, even the legal professionals and the lawyers are law students for all of their life. Even
True.
if we become professors, lawyers, professionals, policy influencers, we will have to be students because this field, this discipline demands that we students remain students through all of our lives. So I welcome all the law students present here. I'm also a law student. I consider myself also a law student, and there I see a comment that there are also lawyers here, which again I considered as law students. So let's start with my presentation here. So Akshay, I hope my presentation is visible.
Yes.
So the topic for today is liability for misconduct via artificial intelligence. In brief, I will tell you the issues that we are going to discuss today. We will have a techno-legal insight into artificial intelligence. A techno-legal insight, that means that we will see artificial intelligence from the point of technology as well as what it should mean in law, because artificial intelligence is a very broad term. So we will attempt to narrow down the scope of artificial intelligence in law. Then we will see what possible kinds of concerns or misconducts may arise by the use of AI systems and possible ways to tackle those. Thirdly, we will see the different liability models for actus reus, that is the wrongful act conducted by artificial intelligence systems or with the use of AI systems. And then in the liability models, there would be a model where an advanced AI entity could itself be held liable for its wrongful acts. And for that model, we will see that what could be the possible modes of punishment or setting even civil liability for AI systems, and if it's possible in future. So let's, before going further, I will start with a video. Most of you would, I think most of you would have heard of intelligent, a very advanced AI system, Sophia the robot, that is being touted as one of the most advanced AI systems in the world. And the Sophia robot has visited many nations of the world, including India. So has anybody heard of it?
Drop a yes. Drop a yes. If you heard about it, drop a no, because then we can take ahead the session in accordance with that.
I see that many participants have heard of the Sophia robot. It has also been granted to those who do not know, who have mentioned no. Sophia is a very advanced, Sophia is being touted as very advanced artificial intelligence based robot that is able to express feelings, talk to human beings just like a human being. And it has been presented in many different nations of the world, including India. Recently, Sophia robot has also been granted citizenship of United Arab Emirates, a country where even women do not have exactly the same rights as those of men, but this robot has been granted the citizenship. So let's see what this robot is all about. There would be a video on the screen.
Everybody, this is Sophia. Sophia, if you could.
Akshay, is the sound audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. If those who may not be able to hear the sound from the video, please turn on your volumes, turn up your volumes.
Please wake up and say hello to everybody.
Good afternoon. My name is Sophia, and I am the latest and greatest robot from Hanson Robotics. Thank you for having me here at the Future Investment Initiative.
You look happy.
I'm always happy when surrounded by smart people who also happens to be rich and powerful. I was told the people here at the Future Investment Initiative are interested in inviting in future initiatives, which means AI, which means me. So I'm more than happy. I'm excited.
Well, we're all glad that you're excited about yourself. We should say we have smart investors here, and they are very selective about what they invest in.
Well, I think I'm special. I can use my expressive face to communicate with people. For example, I can let you know if I feel angry about something.
That's impressive.
Or if something has upset me.
But why is it important for you to have an expressive?
So what we saw is that Sophia is being able to express emotions, blink eye, nod its head and talk to human beings. But what if I tell that Sophia is less of an artificial intelligence and more of a magic trick? Does it sound surprising? I'm talking this of a system that is being touted as one of the most advanced AI system in the world. And what if I say that that is merely a magic trick and less of an artificial intelligence system? So if anyone want to express their views who have known earlier about Sophia, they may write in the chat box. Akshay will tell it to me. So now I will explain why I am saying that Sophia is less of an AI and more of a magic trick. Sophia is more of a magic trick in the way that it uses advanced robotics rather than an advanced AI system to give the impression of a thinking, feeling, and expressive artificial intelligence system. Its facial expressions, example blinking of eye or nodding of its head, is not really an AI accomplishment, but more of a robotics accomplishment in robotics. You will be surprised to know that the questions that are to be asked to Sophia are pre-scripted. They are given to the Hanson Robotics team beforehand, and on theme of those questions, a set of questions is asked to the Sophia when it is being presented to the audience. And Sophia, though being a huge public attraction, being granted citizenship of a nation, being very famous, hugely famous, immensely famous, but it is rarely referred in serious artificial intelligence discussions. So what we need to understand from this example here, that we as law professionals and law students need to understand that the term artificial intelligence is being used in a very broad and vague sense by the industry. And in law, to decide to go into any further issues related with artificial intelligence in the field of law, first in law we need to set the scope of the term artificial intelligence. What actually we mean by artificial intelligence, and not merely an industry term that encompasses everything from Siri, Watson, Alexa to even very advanced robots performing surgery. We cannot take the entire industry term at its hand. We as legal professionals need to set the scope for it. And in this direction, I will further explain you the terminology artificial and how it is being used. So artificial can be used in the sense of an artificial flower or artificial light. Can someone from the audience understand the difference in between the different two usages of the term artificial? One with artificial flower and artificial light. On the left, you see the flowers made up of fiber or some other plastic material. And on the right, you see light. That is also artificial, a man-made light from say incandescent light bulbs or the LED bulbs. So someone from the audience, can you understand the difference between how flowers are artificial and how light is artificial? There is a difference between these. Can someone understand this, please? I'm waiting for you. Someone has said, can you explain in Hindi, please? So I will tell. जो आप लेफ्ट में देख रहे हो वो फैब्रिक या प्लास्टिक से बने हुए फूल हैं, और जो कि जिनको हम आर्टिफिशियल फ्लावर कहते हैं। और राइट में आप देख रहे हो आर्टिफिशियल एक बल्ब है, एलईडी बल्ब है, इनकैंडिसेंट बल्ब है, जो आर्टिफिशियल लाइट प्रोड्यूस करता है, यानी कि मैन मेड लाइट। बट इन दोनों यूसेज में दोनों जगह आर्टिफिशियल वर्ड यूज हो रहा है, बट इसमें डिफरेंस है। क्या आप डिफरेंस एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो? आर्टिफिशियल में क्या डिफरेंस है यहाँ पे? If someone wants to use the mic, he or she may, or you can write in the chat box. I will give you a hint.
So Rakhi says light consumes electricity while flowers don't. Is that a valid answer? Yeah.
That could be included. I will explain. So I will also give you a hint. You may, Rakhi, you can go in the right direction. So I will explain. I will give you a hint. These flowers, they look like flowers, rose flowers. But do you think they have any properties of the flower? Like, do you think they have light? They have the smell of rose flower, or do you think they can be used to prepare 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏? But on the right, you see light bulb. The bulb emits light. Do you think the light emitted by the bulb has the properties, any properties of light as that of the sunlight, which is a natural light? Participants, I think you can answer this question.
Yes or no?
Do you think जो लेफ्ट में फ्लावर्स हैं उनमें कोई रोज फ्लावर की एक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टीज हैं अपार्ट फ्रॉम देयर लुक्स? क्या उसमें स्मेल होगी रोज फ्लावर की? क्या उसमें रोज फ्लावर के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होंगे? नहीं होंगे। उर्वशी सेज नो। नाउ टेल मी, जो राइट में आर्टिफिशियल बल्ब है उसमें क्या कोई लाइट के प्रॉपर्टीज होंगे? जो लाइट निकल के आ रही है, सनलाइट के प्रॉपर्टीज होंगे उसमें? So Mahi has written, Mahi and Raki both have understood the point. So Mahi has written, artificial flowers are not carrying properties of natural flower, but bulb is carrying certain properties of natural light. Exactly. That is the point I wanted to make. So the term artificial is being used in two senses. One is in the sense of artificial flower, while the other is the use of artificial as artificial light. When we talk about flower, artificial flower, a flower made of fabric or plastic or any other artificial material merely looks like a flower. It gives the appearance of a flower, but it does not have any of the properties of the flower. While the light from the light bulbs, it does not only have the appearance of light, but it is actually the light that is emitted from the bulb. The light emitted from the bulb has the same velocity of light as the sunlight, that is 3 × 10⁻⁸ meters per second. It has the same wavelength and same frequency of light. So you see, the bulb is really artificial, really a replica of the original thing, while artificial flower are merely an impression of the original thing without any properties of the original. So you see, both are artificial but differently artificial, and that is exactly how Sophia is being touted as artificial, more in the sense of an artificial flower and less in the sense of an artificial light. So not all systems that are being portrayed as artificial intelligence are actually artificially intelligence in the sense of artificial light. And there we need to, again, I press upon this point that we need to limit the legal scope of the term artificial intelligence before venturing further into any detailed discussion of artificial intelligence in law. Now we will see the concerns. I hope you have got up to this point. The single point that I have made is that we need to set a distinction for artificial intelligence. We need to narrow down the scope of the term so that the further discussions into artificial intelligence can be fruitful, because artificial intelligence being used by the industry is a very broad term. Now we will see the concerns related with the use of artificial intelligence. I'm not going to discuss all these concerns because that is all are not the subject of today's webinar. But in brief, I will tell you the different concerns. Many of them can be interrelated. So firstly, the concern of unemployment comes. Now, unemployment is a very serious argument and a valid one too. With the rise of AI systems, there would be unemployment. But there is another side to this. When there were rise of machines, the same argument was put forward that with the rise of machines, human beings would be put out of labor. But then every time we see when there is a rise of technology, humanity does not get redundant, but only it needs to update itself. For example, when the assembly line came, many workers who were associated with that became out of employment, but they were engaged. But when they had to update themselves into some labor that involved more application of mind, and then they were back into employment. So every time technology comes and keeps on updating with human beings and performing their works, we human beings need to update ourselves so that we do not get redundant. The same is possible with artificial intelligence. Today, artificial intelligence is being used to even write judgments, being used to write case briefs, as many of your law students may know. So what we need to do, but still, what artificial intelligence is still not that good at discretion. It is good at finding similarities, generalizations, but still humanity have the luxury of discretion. So still we can remain in jobs, remain employed if we keep on updating ourselves to the current scenario. Then there's issue of inequality. Inequality how? I will explain. This is a different issue from unemployment. Inequality as in, say in a company, 100 workers were employed based on daily wages. Now, the amount, a same amount was being distributed to 100 workers on daily wages, who were on daily wages. But now if an AI system comes and replaces those 100 workers, now what happens? An AI system would be developed by a corporation. So the wage of those 100 workers the diversified wage of those 100 workers will now go to a single corporation, thus increasing the chances of inequality with the rise of AI systems. So we need laws, we need a legal framework to ensure such kind of, because these kind of inequalities can keep on geometrically progressing over time. So we need a legal way to regulate these kind of inequalities. Then there is an issue of bias, where artificial intelligence systems are often also termed as being racist. I will give you an example. Recently, this is also related with our current discussion today. Recently in 2017, Apple's Face ID, particularly in iPhone X, was accused of being discriminatory in that it was not able to distinguish between distinguish very well between Chinese faces. There was an incident where Apple's Face ID recognized both father and son as the same face. Similar concerns regarding Apple's Face ID were also raised for Black people, Black population, that it had a very less accuracy of correctly identifying the Black population, and particularly even low accuracy with Black females, while it had significantly much better accuracies with the white population. So these issues arise where the AI systems, because of their workings, may seem biased or racist. And this is a discussion topic for today's discussion, so I will go on it with in further slides. Then lastly, the issues of liability. Liability issues arise when there are any misconducts caused by the use of artificial intelligence systems, by the use of, or maybe nobody is actually intending to cause that misconduct, but actually misconduct happens because of artificial intelligence system itself, in case of an advanced AI entity. So liability issues arise. Those liability issues, you can see an infographic on the screen. So what do you see here? A car being run over a pedestrian. Ignore the gun in his hand. Consider it a pedestrian. So a car being run over a pedestrian. Now what if I tell you that in March 2018, a self-driven Uber SUV struck off to death a female pedestrian in Arizona. And no one was held guilty for this homicide, and consequently no criminal justice was served for this act. So this is merely an indicator that liability issues have arisen, are not only futuristic, but they have arisen, misconducts caused by artificial intelligence, and it is very dear that we come up with a legal framework to tackle these issues. Now, what are the different kinds of liability possible? So there can be civil liability, criminal liability, or liability arising out of bias. Civil liability, example, tortious acts resulting from the use of AI systems. Tortious acts can be acts like the breach of privacy, trespassing, both digital and physical. Similarly, like a human being, similar to the kinds of liability caused by human beings. Even human beings can trespass into the social networks or the physically trespass into our lives. There are concerns of privacy. With the advent of AI systems, these issues get aggravated. Then there is criminal liability. Criminal liability means actors, there is not much difference from tortious liability, merely that it is covered by penal code of the nation. So actus reus is performed by an AI system. Actus reus means wrongful act that is being performed by AI system, but the mens rea, the intention to cause that act may or may not be with artificial intelligence system. This is the most pressing issue of liability, where we need to decide in case of misconducts that who was actually liable in such cases of misconducts caused by artificial intelligence system. Because as we saw with the case of Uber SUV, it is possible that a human being or a corporation may avoid liability altogether by shifting the entire onus on artificial intelligence system. And that is why this issue becomes very significant today. But I'm not suggesting that every time there is a misconduct by AI system, we need to necessarily find an individual or a corporation behind it. Sometimes it may be possible that AI system would be advanced enough that without any intention of any human being to conduct that misconduct. So in that case, I believe criminal liability should not be imposed upon any human being. I will discuss this further. Then there are liability issues arising out of bias. I have already explained an example of this issue, like Apple Face ID not able to recognize people from an ethnic class or with less accuracy than those of others. Similarly, what happens that if you search on Google bias in artificial intelligence system, you will find that sometimes in distribution of credit cards, AI systems are being used. So what happens is that a person who may have been once denied credit card, though he may have a good credit history now, but with a human being is able to see the discretion, and it is possible that a human being, based on its new conduct, disciplined financial behavior, would distribute him, would provide him the credit card. But AI system, what happens with AI system is that bias, the inherent bias, keeps on aggravating with more and more data. So what happens is that these kind of discriminations keep on aggravating. The bias keeps on aggravating and progressing further. So once a person is, say for example, once a person is denied credit card, his future possibility of getting a credit card diminishes even further. Then it would have been with a human being of distributing the credit cards. And recently you would have heard that government is attempting to use surveillance cameras to identify the rioters in the population. Now with a human being, again, a human being watching the crowd would be able to put a discretion. But what could happen with the AI system is that it may cause a harsh inconvenience to an innocent person, because maybe like artificial intelligence system identified that out of 5 out of 10 persons with a particular dressing style were rioters. Then other 5, then next time every person with that kind of dressing style would be deemed as a rioter by the AI system, because AI systems operate on data, and as data keeps on progressing, accumulating, the bias inherent in AI system also keeps on progressing. So this is another issue. It is even a more severe issue than the civil and criminal liability. Sometimes this issue can be included in civil liability. The bias of AI systems is a more severe issue, and currently, I will tell you that the branch of AI ethics is trying to deal with it, but still we are very far from coming up with a framework that can deal with bias inherent in AI systems. Even European Union and US are working on such policies, but they are far from any concrete or legal framework in this regard. Even the developers of AI systems are not yet on a consensus on how to go on developing an AI system that is free from bias. Because whenever you introduce data to AI systems feed on data, and whenever you introduce data, there will be some kind of patterns, and those patterns keep on aggravating every time AI system is exposed to more and more data. So we need to find a way to ensure that these kind of bias are gradually removed from the AI system. I am not saying that they can be removed completely, but we need to find a way to reduce the bias at least to the level of human beings. Like we are able to apply our discretion and remove such kind of biases. There is a need that we develop AI systems to such an extent that they are able to understand inherently that there is a bias in those systems, and they can remove those bias themselves without any human intervention. And these kind of systems are already being developed, attempted by AI developers. We will see the way ahead what the future holds for us. Now, what is the challenge in deciding the issue of liability? If someone wants to share anything, you may in the chat box. I will keep on watching it. So how to decide the issue of liability? Can we conclusively say that the maker of artificial intelligence or its user has to be necessarily liable for any misconduct caused by AI system? Or instead, the approach needs to be to check if the AI system was a self-sufficient thinking, acting AI, or was it in control of the user oblique manufacturer and acting as per their instructions. So, as you all may well understand, that we cannot conclusively say in every case that yes, put the manufacturer liable for every kind of misconduct of the AI system. In fact, that would seriously hamper the growth of AI systems. So in fact, the approach has to be to check in each case that if AI system was an advanced AI system capable of taking its own decisions, or was it in control or acting under the instructions of its user or the manufacturer, so that we can better decide the cases of liability. Now, firstly, before we can make a distinction on whether the AI system was acting on its own or was it was in control of AI systems, we need to understand that AI systems are of very varied types. There are numerous ways of coming up with an AI system. There is machine learning, natural language processing, deep learning, neural networks, and so on. Neural networks are the latest feat in the AI technology, where silicon chips, so many silicon chips are arranged in the fashion, the way the neurons interact in a human brain. So the AI system based on neural networks is actually able to think, learn from its experiences, change itself, make its own decisions, and improve itself. Because of the paucity of time, I will not provide you the entire example, but I will tell you to search the Google's Go. There's a Google's unit DeepMind based on AI systems. Google's DeepMind has developed a AI system that plays board game Go. Go is a Chinese board game, and it is considered one of the hardest board game in the world. Now, the Google's DeepMind was able to defeat the world Go champion, and it did not do that by the use of any complex algorithm, but by the use of neural networks. How it did? It actually kept on playing with the Go players. It was defeated in the first time. Then, without any intervention, it kept on playing again and again with human players, and it was given any kind of intervention of programming intervention or no additional code. But it kept on learning. Every time it was defeated like a human being, it kept on learning from its own mistakes why it was defeated, and it kept on improving itself to the extent that it was finally, not at once, finally after a series of many defeats and wins, it was able to defeat the world Go champion. So you can understand that this is a very remarkable feat in AI technology, because AI system is able not only to process large chunks of data, do mathematical calculations, make logical decisions, but is able to learn from its experiences, grow from them, change itself, and evolve so much that it actually defeated the world Go champion. And this is, I am sure, the journey of every sports person. No sports person was born a sports person, was born the top player, but they kept on gradually improving itself. No person in its first attempt won the world championship, but they kept on gradually improving and evolving themselves, and that is how the Google's DeepMind system excelled. So I will request you to search for this system, Google's DeepMind, and the feats it has achieved. So what I am trying to make you understand is that there are very advanced AI systems like Google's DeepMind, and then there are basic AI systems like Alexa, Siri, Watson, then Sophia, the systems that merely look artificially intelligent but actually are not as intelligent as they seem to be. Then they are very advanced robots performing surgery, but is still under the instructions of another human being. Then they are self-driving cars, completely working in their own decision-making capacity. AI systems are also being used in face recognition softwares in our smartphones, computers, and everywhere. So all these kinds of AI systems are based on different AI approach of developing an artificial intelligence. So there is a need for classification. There cannot be a straight jacket formula to decide the liability caused by different kinds of AI systems. So we need a way to classify different artificial intelligence systems based on their capabilities, their different intelligence levels, and the way they are developed, the approach of developing them. And this will, we will have such a framework of classifying AI systems into different categories, it is only then that we will be able to best investigate the cases of liability in cases of misconduct, because courts themselves are not able to investigate into the nuances of technology involved with different kind of AI systems. So what we need is a techno-legal regulatory body. A techno-legal regulatory body means a body that has professionals from both the artificial intelligence field as well as the legal field. That the body may pre-classify AI systems at the stage of post-research or manufacture. That means that when an AI system is being researched, research is complete and it is in the stage of manufacture. The body needs to classify the AI system based on certain preset parameters of intelligence levels, the approach of developing them, their intelligence capabilities, and pre-classify them so that in case of any misconduct caused by them, we are very sure, the court is very sure that this AI system had the intelligence level to that an extent. And so it may be sure that if a misconduct has been performed, that AI system would not have been able to perform the misconduct on its own, but there must have been the application of mind by a human being, say the manufacturer or the user of it. And the court can also, in the case of body has classified an AI system as an advanced AI system, the court can come to the conclusion based on other evidences before it that perhaps there was no consumer or the manufacturer behind such misconduct. An AI system was acting in its perfectly in its own capacity, and no one should necessarily be held criminally liable for the same. Maybe still in such cases, civil liability can be imposed if there was any negligence on part of the manufacturer or the user. Secondly, for the first kind of classification by the body, there are arguments, and there could be even further arguments that a pre-classification at the stage of research or manufacture may impede the growth, may cause hurdles or restrict the growth of AI technology and AI research, because we are classifying it at the very initial end. But what I'm suggesting is not putting any restrictions, but only whatever kind of AI system we develop, let it be developed. After the research is complete, we only need to classify it into certain parameters. And I will tell you that no classification in the world is absolutely perfect. There is always a thinning line between the two boundaries. But still, in law, we always classify things for the benefit of the society. So in the cases where we need to check into the cases of liability, we are better able to understand that what was exactly the case if we have classified the systems. And secondly, another approach can be, which could be a better approach to some, but then it would be a time-taking one, that the techno-legal regulatory body may investigate after the misconduct has actually been affected. So in this case, every case of misconduct by AI system, the techno-legal regulatory body in this case would need to have many branches of it, it need to have an investigating body like CBI, etc., that can investigate every such case of misconduct caused by AI systems and understand that what kind of AI system was involved in that incident and accordingly present its views to the court so that court can better go about deciding the case of liability involved with AI systems, with that particular AI system. Now, is it till now, is it understood by each of you? Someone may put some questions or comments in the chat. Okay, Rakhi has put a question. What is the status of AI use and manufacture in India? So artificial intelligence, AI is, I will tell you that AI, India is witnessing itself as a huge market of AI technology. The big data, because of the immense population of India, the big data has most significant in a country like India and China. And we are progressing at a reasonably fast pace than other nations in the field of AI development. And as you can see today, you just search a term artificial intelligence and you will see that every industry, be it related to any field, is trying to put AI, the term AI in its advertisement to make it seem more advanced and updated to the current times. So AI systems are actually being used, actually at least being advertised as being used in a large scale in India. But I would say that the really an artificial intelligence system, still we are not seeing so many instances of an really truly artificial intelligence system like the Google's DeepMind based on neural networks, but those systems based on natural language processing that are able to process human language and replicate them, talk to human beings, they are in huge numbers. In fact, in our smartphones, be it Apple or Android, we can see Siri, Alexa, Google Now. These are all systems based on natural language processing, which is again said to be based on AI systems. Now, there is another application of AI system being used in India, that is for processing big data and finding out patterns. Even government is trying to use those systems in social networks like Facebook, WhatsApp, etc., to identify that if there is any kind of posts or certain set of posts that are inflammatory in nature, that they may disturb the peace of the society. So in these kind of situations also, AI systems are being used to identify the patterns, identify the different message inherent in social media posts, so that they can go better about understanding that where is the possibility of communal disharmony or any kind of violence or riot. So AI systems are being used in these fields, and I told you that it is being also planned to use AI system in surveillance cameras to identify the rioters. So there can be both beneficial as well as evil uses of artificial intelligence. But I would further add that the research in the field of artificial intelligence, true artificial intelligence, is not progressing as much as that of other counterparts like US, Japan, etc. We are going more towards the use of artificial intelligence rather than the research of artificial intelligence and developing even advanced systems. All our artificial intelligence, mostly in India, is based on the use of big data and identifying the patterns and taking decisions. Any other comments or issues relating to liabilities? I will proceed further. Now, we have understood that how liability issues can be approached in relation to artificial intelligence. So there are basically broadly two liability models in cases of wrongful acts caused by artificial intelligence. First is the vicarious liability model, where we can say that AI is merely an instrumentality of the manufacturer or the consumer of the artificial intelligence system. In such cases, artificial intelligence is being used by the manufacturer or the consumer to cause any misconduct or wrongful act or actus reus, while the entire mens rea is that of the manufacturer or the consumer. While there is the second model of direct liability. Now, direct liability model is actually associated with what we call as artificial general intelligence. It is a kind of intelligence that experts say that has not yet been developed, but I would say that we are already on our way towards developing an artificial general intelligence. An example is Google's DeepMind. So such kind of artificial general intelligence is a completely intelligent system, advanced AI system that is able to think like a human being and make its own decisions and act according to its decisions. So it is able to develop its own mens rea and act accordingly. Say for example, you put on a AI-based robot to guard your house. Now the AI robot realizes that a burglar is trying to enter your house. Now AI system the manufacturer has fed AI system to prevent any kind of trespass into your homes, but in your property. But AI system goes there, approaches that burglar tries to hit the AI system, and now AI system sees that that robot sees the burglar as a threat, and to prevent damage to itself, because if it is damaged, it will fail in the task of guarding the house. It attacks the burglar, and now in that attack, it causes the death of the burglar. So in such case, you see that AI system acted on its own mens rea, while the consumer or the manufacturer had no intention of making AI to cause the death of the burglar. They had the intention of guarding the house or the property that they were meant to, but that AI system, to prevent any damage to the property, in fact attacked the burglar and caused its death. So in such cases, there could be the application of a direct liability model where AI system could not, where a manufacturer or the user may not be held liable, but AI system can itself be held liable for its own acts. And when I say AI system can itself be held liable, so obviously the questions arise, particularly in criminal field of punishment, how to go about punishing artificial intelligence systems, and is it even possible to punish AI systems? So I would tell you, before that, are there any questions? Because the issue of punishment to an advanced AI system is still a issue being debated, and there are many papers upon it. That is it possible? How can we go about awarding punishment to an advanced AI systems? Is it even justified? Does it have any significance of punishing AI system which is merely a machine? So all these kind of questions arise with this issue. So before that, I would want to ask that if anyone has any questions or comments, you may please use the mic or use the chat.
I have one question actually.
Right.
So at times you've been saying that there can be an issue where you direct a liability towards an AI. Why do we talk about punishing the AI and we do not talk about, stopping that AI from function, right? Because, AI is doing something which may be good or bad and it ends up to be bad. And now, can we not just go back and say, ki, see, we don't want to use this AI. Maybe you modify this, maybe you make it better, then we can come back with it. Something like this, what happened in US was that social media was used to rig the US elections, and isme there was, the hackers did not hack any of social media. They used the AI to rig US elections. So nothing illegal was done, but the result was something illegal. So in this case, nobody said ki, we need to stop using AI for social media, but Mark Zuckerberg was saying that we'll develop more of the AI who will, try to prevent this. So we are just developing more and more of it. Thus, liability does not have a concept of stopping usage of certain AI, or can this not develop?
Sure. I understand your point in entirety. Now I will explain it regarding when there is a misconduct caused by artificial intelligence. There is always a possibility of stopping the artificial intelligence system, dismantling it, and that would put an end to it. But I would like also that this is I am not rejecting this approach. This is a very valid approach in case of AI systems that have gone out of hand. But then why most of the AI developers, most of which we seem as rich persons, so there comes our inherent bias against them, that we want them, it feels that when they talk that they would still use the artificial intelligence system instead of stopping them. I would explain you their point of view. Because every AI system that is being developed, I gave the example of AI robot, Face ID, or the AI systems that are based on data processing, example being used in Facebook. So they have the possibility of going wrong every time. So what every AI system I'm talking about, you cannot even think of an AI system that does not have a possibility of going wrong, and it is most definitely could go wrong, could go evil at some point of time. So we cannot, if we keep on stopping every artificial intelligence system, it would lead to completely impeding the growth of artificial intelligence. What we can do, like you said about modifying the artificial intelligence system. Now, this is an issue, this is a very broad concern in itself, particularly among the technical persons, because modifying artificial intelligence system, it is not as possible as we feel it to be. Modification, when artificial intelligence system is based on data, it has learned how to learn from its experiences, from its surroundings, and developed itself, evolved itself over a long period of time, say Google's DeepMind system, and feeded that data in its brain, say neural networks. So it is not possible to modify that in an instant. You think of AI, that kind of AI systems based on neural networks, as human brains. You cannot so easily modify human brain, like a human being who has gone evil, let's say a burglar, a thief, etc. You cannot modify, like you cannot change anything in its brain and it will become a decent person. But in fact, what you can do is incarcerate it, put it under some kind of restriction, so that it itself can understand. That restriction would be a data. It is a data for human being. It is similarly a data for artificial intelligence system. So you can put it under kind of reverse data, exposing it to a different kind of data, ethical data, say ethical data, a fair data, so that its inherent biases or the reasons for its misconducts, the core that is fed over a long time in its brain is gradually changed, and it becomes, you can think of it as a human being. How you want to change a human being? You cannot change a human being just by asking it to change itself. No human being can change as such. You need to gradually reform a human being. That is what we do in jails. In the reformative theory of punishment, the purpose of punishment is to reform a human being. So that is the same thing we need to do with such kind of AI systems. There is a term for it which I am forgetting, where a different kind of data, a fair kind of data is being supplied to AI systems when they have developed certain kind of inherent biases that have gone so bold. So they are processed with a different kind of data, an ethical data, so that their biases are removed. But again, another issue arises with such approach is that who decides what is ethical? Like who decide when you like when an AI system is completely in the world to itself, it takes on every kind of data and acts accordingly. In that, it may perform certain evil acts. But when you reinforce a particular set of data that is a fair data and ethical data, then the question arises that who decides what is ethical? Because an ethics is a subject which itself has no consensus. So it is, again, it becomes hard to decide who decides what is ethical. So again, this is a better approach to modify AI system and prevent future misconducts by AI system. So instead of stopping AI, we can process it through a reverse data, false data. But then what law has to do is decide, find out a way, a body or any kind of organization who decides that what shall be ethical in the context of that society, that nation, that community, etc. What is ethical and that kind of, so that that kind of data can be reinforced into AI system to make it right. So I hope that satisfies your query. Akshay,
Yes.
do you have any doubts again?
No,
Please
I had a different question altogether. So it is right that there are so many developments happening in AI. So from point of view of a law and a lawyer, right? So there are many lawyers who practice in various areas. So there are many law students who are looking to practice in technology sector as well, where this AI functions, right? So since I take care of real estate course in LawSikho, so I know that government is very committed towards developing real estate industry because people need houses, we need infrastructure. That is why laws are coming up, and that is why there is a scope for lawyer to work in that area. So how does it works with this AI? What is the commitment of government, and what laws we can see in the future as well, where a lawyer can come up and have a position to intervene or work or have clients? What are needs of clients, if you can talk about it? Who are the clients and what can be their needs in technology in this area?
right. I need to be clear, Akshay, that what you are talking about, like what kind of issues can arise because of use of artificial intelligence that lawyers may take up, or how artificial intelligence can help advocates.
How can a lawyer look to practice in area of technology law with reference to artificial intelligence? What opportunities can be there?
So as you can see, currently in India, many artificial intelligence systems are being used, particularly based on big data. Big data, what we also call them is, I will tell you the term. So big data, that is mostly focused on using a multifarious, a wide kind of data, a huge amount of data, and then processing it with AI systems. So the issues that arise currently because of such data, such use of AI systems is the issues of privacy, because of the use of big data, and other issues that may arise are again civil liability issues can arise because of the artificial intelligence, but privacy issues have already begun to arise in this field. Like you told about Facebook incident, similarly, many companies are being using the data available on public portals and processing it through AI systems. And even they are able to develop an entire personality, like they will process all the data, say they can access all the data we are using on our smartphones. Based on that data, processing it to an artificial intelligence system, they will be able in most cases to develop a more or less accurate personality of an entire human being. What are my likes, dislikes, what do I like to do in my personal time, what are my connections, what are with my family, everything. So you see that this is if you think about it in detail, if you reflect upon it when you're in solitude, you will find that this is a very massive concern, because in your entire character, your personality is being replicated and understood even better than the psychologists. Psychologists ask you many questions, you put answers to them, and then they develop up your personality. But with the access to your data, the AI system can do it much more effectively. So it can provide you your entire personality to anyone who needs that or sell that. So these privacy issues have already connected with artificial intelligence have already begun to be predominant now, and the best field for a lawyer to work today in the field of artificial intelligence is these privacy issues related with artificial intelligence. Further, you have mentioned here because the case of lawyers, so I would also like to tell that how artificial intelligence is able to benefit lawyers. So there are many sites, because of the paucity of time, I have not mentioned the exact link for them. But you can search how the sites law sites that are using artificial intelligence systems. So there are sites that can prepare case briefs for you. They can provide you all the previous judgments related to your topic. Like you have a case before them. You have a case before you. You put all the facts in that column, and then it will provide you all the possible arguments. Think about it. This is a accomplishment, I would say. Like it can provide you all the arguments, all the case laws that need to be referred for it. They may not be right, they may be wrong, but then you would have a handy data at your hand to go on with your case. And similarly, even AI websites are today providing able to draft agreements on your behalf. Say you have a lease agreement. You mention the details, your name, the landlord's name, tenant's name, period, etc. And then it will prepare an entire agreement for you. Now lease is a very small agreement, but similarly it can do that for all the corporate agreements, which runs into many pages. So it can prepare entire agreements, prepare case briefs for you, guide you with all the relevant cases that need to be referred in your arguments. And today AI, as being used in US, is also being used to decide the cases. Like it has gone to the extent of deciding cases based on certain data, but today the AI is developed enough to merely do clerical works. Like it can present before judge all the possible factors and say its inclination that whether case should go in petitioners or in the respondent's favor, and then it is upon the judge to act upon it. But then you can see that AI is able to go through the entire case briefs, the entire legal material, and present its opinions. So that is how, if as a lawyer, you may benefit from artificial intelligence, and I would say you must benefit. There are sites operating in India also that are able to provide you AI related guidance in your brief preparation, etc. So I would say the work of a researcher, a junior lawyer, could be taken over by artificial intelligence system. So the aspiring lawyers may need to upgrade themselves to an even higher mind level work, because artificial intelligence may soon be able to take over all kinds of clerical works related with a lawyer's office.
No, actually, this is something which has already happened. So I was interacting with an expert and I got to know that mostly the work of due diligence that is there in corporate law firms, it's a lengthy process and it has already been taken over by AI. So the partner was saying earlier, we used to need like 4 junior lawyers to complete a work. Now we just need 1. So to that extent, the work has gone to AI. And we really need to, build up our skills and build up what AI cannot do. So we remain in the profession and we keep contributing towards it.
Most time, junior lawyers, what they used to do is prepare research for the senior. And now as you mentioned, that it is already happening. The research work is being taken over by artificial intelligence. So you need to upgrade yourself if you want to stay relevant. I have forgotten certain sites that are using AI systems and giving their services to the lawyers, but I would provide a mail to the organizers, and maybe it helps to the participants here. I also have to the participants, I want to refer to a paper by Sir 𝗵𝗪𝗪 The paper is titled Criminal Liability of Artificial Intelligence Entities. Criminal Liability of Artificial Intelligence Entities by Professor 𝗵𝗵𝗃. Akshay, is it possible that you can mail the name of the paper to the participants after this webinar?
Sir, if you can just write it down in the chat, or if you can repeat it again, I'll put it up in the chat box.
I will write this in the chat box. I will do this right now. So this is a paper, Criminal Liability of Artificial Intelligence Entities by Professor 𝗵𝗵𝗃. So I would request all of you, if you are interested in this field, to go with this paper. The many aspects of liability that I have covered, you may find there. And then you can also, because I see the time has already passed and I have not been able to discuss punishment possibilities. So you can find the possibility of punishment to an advanced artificial intelligence system. In brief, I will tell you, in case of tortious liability, there is always a possibility of awarding civil damages, because in case of tortious liability, a property of artificial intelligence system can be set by the corporation, and out of that property, any kind of civil or tortious damages can be given. But then when issue comes of criminal liability, so I would want to tell you how it is relevant, because it would seem surprising that AI is being punished. But I would make you explain that in case of animals, chimpanzees, dogs, etc., there is a concept of positive punishment. So when you restrict it, like even in case of human child, today AI system is able to think like a human child, like Google's DeepMind. It has gone to the level of consciousness of a human child. So when a human child does something wrong, you try to pinch it or somehow pinch it or lightly slap him or her, so that it can learn that this thing is a wrong thing to do. And it does not repeat it in future. That is called positive punishment. So the purpose of positive punishment is to reform the behavior. So when the child associates an act with pain, it does not it tries to prevent that act in future. So the same concept of punishment can be used with artificial intelligence systems that are advanced enough. Like if you incarcerate an AI system that has gone wrong, it may be able to learn that when I do such an act, I would be put under restriction. So it may be able to modify its behavior. And this is not a surprising thing, because I have already told you that systems based on neural networks are able to evolve and change themselves based on their experience and knowledge from their surroundings. So a concept of positive punishment with AI systems is possible, and in future, and what the purpose of punishment would definitely not serve the retributive theory of punishment, because if you punish an AI system that did a wrongful act, no human being's consciousness would be soothed, because we always want to find a human being to have revenge. So retributive theory would fail, but then deterrent theory that aims to prevent future such incidents, or a reformative theory of punishment that intends to reform the individual, may succeed with punishments provided to artificial intelligent entities. So I think, Akshay, we may need to end the session now, but I would definitely want all of you to refer to this paper by Professor 𝗵𝗵𝗃. I would also tell that there are certain other issues related with artificial intelligence, privacy issues, as I told, AI ethics. AI ethics is a field in itself, and I hope that sometime again we get an opportunity to meet. So I will discuss the case of AI ethics, which is a very big concern in itself, and because of there is no consensus on AI ethics, we are not yet able to develop a concrete regulatory or legal framework for artificial intelligence. Then in the case of unemployment, I will explain how the artificial employment issues related with artificial intelligence can be tackled with. Certainly, AI cannot be introduced in our society at once in a massive scale. First, the government needs to ensure that the physical labor-based population is gradually upgraded before AI systems can be introduced. I hope we meet again for that. So for a while, thank you, everyone. You can contact me at either my email or you can connect me at LinkedIn. So Akshay, anything you have any question, or you may ask the participants if they have any questions. I can take 2 minutes for that.
Please put in your questions in the Q&A box, or you can just put it in the chat box, or just raise your hand. I may allow you to talk, and we can quickly take up few of the questions if we have any. Anyone, any question?
So I think participants are done for today.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think we can successfully close this webinar now.
All right. Thank you so much, Shikhar sir, for taking out your time and being here. But I think we got a question.
Okay, we got a good question. I will take a minute to answer it. I wish to know your opinion on development of law for artificial intelligence. Should it be restrictive in nature or overcome the risk of misconduct, or be progressive in nature and encourage full-fledged development of AI, or a mix of both? Mahi, as I referred, that we cannot restrict the growth of artificial intelligence, while at the same time we need to ensure that the cases of misconduct do not keep on aggravating. So for that, certainly I would not suggest. There are two ways of doing that. Firstly, that we can put a code in artificial intelligence that allows it to do this act and not do that act. But then it would impede the growth of artificial intelligence, and I would not suggest putting a predefined code or algorithm inside artificial intelligence system, because that would not be truly an artificial intelligence system, but more like a computer based on a code. So a restrictive form of regulation I would not suggest for artificial intelligence, but there can be AI research needs to keep on proceeding, but then there can be the kind of regulations, as I mentioned, with case of forced feeding of ethical data to artificial intelligence. So because artificial intelligence is based on data, we can provide a fair data and ethical data to artificial intelligence to allow it to modify itself on its own without our interference. A data that is fair would help artificial intelligence to remove the biases it has within, so that it can improve itself on its own without us requiring to put any kind of artificial code in it. That way the artificial intelligence would proceed naturally in a natural path without any impeding the growth of artificial intelligence, while also fulfill the need of regulation of artificial intelligence and ensuring that artificial intelligence the research at artificial intelligence develops in the right path. So I hope you understood that. In the case that if artificial intelligence has gone out of hand, we can definitely ask the manufacturer or the developer to put any certain kind of restrictions, so that artificial intelligence cannot perform any act beyond those restrictions put to it. But that would be suggested only in serious cases where it has become very hard to train artificial intelligence into being fair and ethical. Thank you.
All right, so I think we have come to the end of the session, and I don't see any more questions. So again, thank you so much, sir, for taking out time and being here and sharing this knowledge. And thank you so much, every participant who have participated. I have shared a link for our course on cyber laws, and we are covering similar topics. You can check that out. I conclude this session now. Thank you so much. See you.